to simply deduce it to the fact that somebody didn't say enough mantras or just didn't quite believe in themselves enough. Some people are born more naturally attractive. Some people just fall into situations where the algorithm blows them up on social media. This is why historically we are captivated by stories of women who have gone through struggles. We live in a society where we've been told that we are extremely special. Hi friends, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for being here. Every time that I film a video, there's something that pretty much impedes me, and right now it's my dogs walking around with their clanking little paws on this floor. So I really apologize, but I'm trying my best these days, heavily pregnant, to bring you the best content that I can given my circumstances. So for those of you who are new, I would love it if you would hit the subscribe button, like any video that you like. We talk about femininity, homemaking, more so traditional type of living on this channel, but even if you're not into all of those things and you're just into one certain aspect of any of the things I mentioned, I welcome you with open arms. Let's get right into the video because my son is napping, so we'll try to make this as efficient as possible. But today we are talking about the lucky girl trend, but more so from a femininity perspective, because like I mentioned, we are a channel that focuses on femininity, and we believe that femininity is a lifelong journey, that you have never arrived to your destination and you're always growing in your femininity in your own way. I have noticed the lucky girl trend on TikTok reels, and even some people on YouTube have started dedicating entire long 20-minute videos to this subject. So I thought I'd put in my 2 cents. For those of you who are new, you might not be aware that I am a Christian. So the aspect of manifestation that is trending now when it comes to the topic of being a lucky girl isn't exactly something that aligns with my beliefs. But there are elements to this trend that can be applied to our lives as Christian women if you identify that way, such as myself. Even if that isn't something that is a part of your life, I do believe that the lucky girl syndrome is essentially elements of femininity just repackaged. We have to acknowledge that in order to be a truly lucky girl doesn't mean that bad things aren't going to happen to us. To simply deduce it to the fact that somebody didn't say enough mantras or just didn't quite believe in themselves enough in order to have luck can be kind of what we're talking about when we discuss toxic positivity. For example, my mom passed away this year. There isn't an amount of believing that her cancer would have been magically cured, or that things would have been better if I just said enough of a certain phrase, if I believed in my luck enough, that would have probably prevented the situation. So I think that as feminine women, we have to have a little bit of grace and empathy and understand that not everybody comes from the same background. My friend Felicia talked about this on her Instagram stories a couple of days ago, the Feminine Fancy, where certain people have economic backgrounds, they have adversity that they face. So boiling it down to just believing in yourself and that you are lucky is actually quite insulting to many women. However, all that being said, how can you still optimize your life to feel as though you are the luckiest woman in the world? And what I think it comes down to is resilience. We see a lot of that joie de vivre aura in feminine women that I constantly talk about on this channel, and I've actually been criticized in not being able to define it exactly. And the reason for that is because all of the videos on my channel pertaining to femininity do incorporate themselves in terms of the elements that make up this vibe, this energy. Lucky girl syndrome, in my opinion, from a feminine perspective, doesn't mean that bad things aren't going to happen to you, but you're going to be able to move forward. You're going to have a joyful aura in everything that you do. So in addition to all of the femininity content that I've made that I highly suggest you check out the playlist, I'm going to give you 3 things that I think you can do to enrich your feminine spirit and become a luckier woman. The first thing, which ties into that overarching concept of resilience, is that the lucky girl is able to see the bigger picture of her life. I came across a video of a woman talking about the difference between parents who have a very, very hard time and might fall into hot mess mom culture compared to those that don't. It isn't necessarily that the other group has easier babies, but it's the ability to look at tragedy and bad things that happen and brush them off and understand that those are a part of life. You can look at obstacles as advancing your soul and teaching you a lesson, or Or you can look at them as the most devastating situation that you can never get out of. You can wallow in that pain, or you can choose to look at that as something that is going to make you grow. Looking at life as if it is a school and an opportunity to learn helps you focus on your own situation and not compare to other people. Other people might be enrolled in easier schools, just like in high school, for example. Some of your friends might have easier teachers and get better grades. Some people are born more naturally attractive. Some people just fall into situations where the algorithm blows them up on social media. But looking at the bigger picture of your life helps you have gratitude for everything that you are going through. And this does sound a little bit negative, but understanding that life isn't necessarily fair does give you an element of freedom to feel that gratitude for your own situation. I encourage you not just to look at tomorrow and how bad your circumstances are, but look at the end of your life and all the things that you're going to remember that have created you as a person. It isn't the financial hardships that you've gone through, for example. It isn't the bad relationship that you might be struggling with. It is how you can view those things as tools to make you a better woman. This is why historically we are captivated by stories of women who have gone through struggles, but for some reason have a gentle spirit. They are still nurturing and kind to those they interact with. They don't let the world tear down their soul, and that helps them feel like a lucky woman. The next thing I want to encourage you to do is have a playful spirit. I have talked about how Fascinating Woman, for example, from the 1950s has talked about childlikeness, not childishness, but the ability to see fun in every situation is going to help you have that lucky girl syndrome. The lucky girls are able to take risks in terms of business, be bold, change their look, and that causes for them to seem as though they have an advantage compared to everybody else in society, that they are just luckier. But it is because they see life as a playground, new risks as an opportunity simply to play. So I encourage you to get over what you think might be cringy, to take that risk, to open the business, to message the person back that you're trying to get in contact with. Let yourself feel embarrassed if it comes down to it, because that playfulness is going to move you forward in being luckier. I have talked countless times on this channel about how failing isn't necessarily a bad thing. We live in a society where we've been told that we are extremely special. So when we grow up, we feel as though if we can't be number one in a particular thing, that it's not worth doing at all. But being number two, being number three, just being a part of a group or accomplishing a certain thing is worth it. You don't have to be the best to extract positive from a situation. You don't have to be the top of your class to be a lucky girl. You don't have to be the prettiest woman to be a lucky girl. You just have to channel your playfulness in seeing how you can take those risks. Lastly, in our self-centered culture, the lucky girl has a close circle that she can trust. This is very difficult because we're constantly told to cut off people, that certain people are toxic if they mess up, but the lucky girl is able to see the good in various people. Now, there is a fine line. Of course, you don't want to engage in too many narcissistic people who are going to take advantage of you, for example, but that's why I talk about the close-knit circle. Being able to give genuine compliments to other people, helping other people out, asking other people how they are doing. If you continuously nurture that relationship, you'd be surprised at how much that comes back to you in return. Believing in other people and building them up. If they are good people, they have the best intentions towards you, tends to come back to you in terms of confidence. So when you have that group of people cheering each other on, that will build your confidence to feel as though you are the luckiest girl in the world.
So I wanted to add on to this part because I feel as though I didn't go into depth and grasp exactly what I was trying to say. So essentially in society today, we view people more so as commodities just because of the nature of how competitive things are nowadays. But in order to truly tap into feminine spirit, you have to get used to the spirit of giving. And this is definitely something that is very, very challenging to do. And although it can come back to you in return, like I previously mentioned, sometimes it is just through the cultivation of femininity, through this practice of being generous, where you are going to reap the best reward. Because again, as lucky girls, we are not necessarily in search of the materialism, but more so the feeling that can indeed attract the materialism at the end of the day. We are looking for a way to live our lives that is everlasting, not just a quick fix that is like a genie in the sky.
A lot of what I've been talking about over the past couple of minutes is a feeling and not circumstantial. Like we mentioned at the beginning of the video, things in life will happen to you. That's just a part of being a human. But in order to be a lucky girl, you want to build the foundation of resilience, of picking yourself back up, of continuing moving forward and being optimistic. All of these things will help you be a more positive person and will also give you that feminine spirit. And so I leave you on a final note that I encourage you, when you are consuming this kind of lucky girl content, to try to think about advice that is everlasting. What are the pieces of wisdom that you will be able to carry with you throughout your entire life that become part of your personality? That's all I have today. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.